Everyone see the cards now? Flippity cards?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so here's the situation. B1 attempts to catch a punt with no fair catch signal. It crosses the neutral zone. It strikes his or her shoulder. Now, since he doesn't secure it, we know it has an end of the kick. So what we have is a muff, and the ball bounces into the air. The ball does not touch the ground. Airborne A1 of the punting team receives the ball. In other words, grabs the ball, recovers the ball in flight, and first returns to the ground out of bounds. So what do we have here? Matt or Kim?
Okay, so what do we got? We got no fair catch signal, so anyone, if it touches a B player, anyone can recover it, but the A1 player does not actually recover it in bounds, so it must be an out of bounds.
Exactly. So, yeah, A1 can't keep the ball. If he had recovered it in bounds, he could have kept the ball because it was muffed by the receiving team, right? Right?
Yeah.
Felicia's on good. Okay, so but since he didn't keep it in bounds, landed out of bounds, it's basically the same thing as if the punt going out of bounds. So we'd probably bring the ball in back where the ball crossed the sideline, where in the possession of A1. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, the out of bounds spot will be
right. Okay. So it's ruling team B's ball at the spot where the ball crossed the sideline. 1st and 10 for the receiving team. Okay, and next one is, okay, here's the situation. 4th and goal on team B's 5-yard line. A55's legal snap is muffed by A12, and any player of team A recovers and advances the ball into the end zone. That'd be sequence or play number A. Or play number B, a player of team B recovers and advances the ball. So what would we be doing on team A? Okay, 4th and goal on team B's 5. A quarterback or whatever snaps, A12 snap, muffs the ball, never gains possession, but another player, one of the halfback on team A, recovers the ball and advances into the end zone. What do we have? Talk it through. I'm hoping for answers by Matt, Kim, and Felicia.
Is this the situation where the person who fumbles the ball has to be the one to take it in?
That's a good thought, but
yeah, it's not.
This would not be called a. This wouldn't be called a fumble.
Yeah, it's a muff.
A12 never recovered never possessed the ball.
Gotcha.
So if it's not a fumble,
then anyone can take the ball in.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, you guys got that? What Felicia was talking about, that 4th down play, if the quarterback A12 had recovered the ball, kept the ball, and possessed it, and then fumbled the ball, only the fumbling person can pick up that ball and advance it on a 4th down. But since he never possessed it, it's not considered a fumble. It's just a muff, and then any player from team A can pick up that ball and advance it. How about scenario B? He muffs it, and a player of team B recovers and advances the ball.
Yeah, team B ball.
That's right.
Wherever they get to.
Yeah, he can have it. Okay. Ruling: a snap is a backward pass and may be advanced by any player. In A, it would be a touchdown. Since this is a backward pass and not a fumble, there's no restrictions on a team A player recovering and advancing the ball. In B, the ball continues in play. Whatever the result of that play is, it's in B's possession. Okay. 65. Okay, 4th and 6. Team A's running play, which ends in bounds, gains 8 yards. B1 is offside during the play. Or in B, gains 5 yards, and B1 is offsides during the play. So let's take it one at a time. 4th down and 6. Team A runs the ball, which ends in bounds, and they gain 8 yards. But the defense is offsides on the play. It was 4th down and 6. What do we have here? What do we do?
Well, I'll just say first down. I mean, would you even give them the option of taking the penalty, because that wouldn't give them the ball anyway?
That's right. You wouldn't have the option. They made a first down. If they accept the penalty, they're not going to have a first down.
Yeah.
Yes. So they would ignore, decline the penalty, accept the result of the play. Now, what if it had only gained 5 yards?
I imagine they'd take the penalty and replay the down.
Yes, exactly. Now it'll be 4th down and 1, and replay the 4th down. Ruling A and Team A's ball, 1st and 10. The clock starts. So they said they'll give us all kinds of additional stuff. The clock starts on the referee's signal, mainly because they made a first down. You stop the clock, move the chains, and then the clock will start on the referee's signal. On B, it's Team A's ball, 4th and 1. The clock starts on the referee's signal. All right. Anytime you have any questions, do speak up as we go through these. Okay, a ball carrier throws a forward pass while beyond the neutral zone to conserve time. What are we doing on that play? You're a wing official, you're a line judge or head linesman, you're standing on the line of scrimmage. One of your responsibilities is you don't leave the line of scrimmage until the ball passes the line of scrimmage. So here comes the ball carrier, passes right in front of you, and then throws a forward pass.
Well, throw a flag for an illegal forward pass.
That's right. Throw a flag at the spot where he throws the pass. Right? This is one of the times that you want to mark the spot where he throws the pass. If he had gone 5 yards downfield, 10 yards downfield, when that guy throws that illegal forward pass, you throw a flag and drop it on where he threw it, because that's going to be a spot of enforcement.
Okay. Right. So is that because it's the end, effectively the end of a run, is it?
Yes. Well, that's where the play ends, right there.
Okay.
Do we blow the whistle and blow the play dead right at this time, Pam?
I don't believe so, no. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't.
Just let the play go?
Yeah.
If it's intercepted, do we allow an illegal forward pass to be intercepted? Tony?
It's a live ball foul, so you let it go, and then if defense has a good play, then they can just decline.
Yeah. And I haven't looked on the other side of this as far as the timing and so on. If I'm correct, the penalty, if you accept that penalty, say we just fell incomplete, is going to be from the spot of where you threw the forward pass, and it'd be an illegal forward pass. What's that? A 5-yard penalty and loss of down?
Yeah.
I think. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, 5-yard penalty, loss of down, and does the clock stop on an illegal forward pass when it's incomplete?
You have to
If it's
stop- yeah.
incomplete, well, the clock already stops
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay,
But if it was a completed forward pass, then you would assess it, and then it will be on the ready.
Yeah, you'd always stop the clock because you have a flag, but it's just what happens at the end of that enforcement.
yeah, but you wouldn't then start it on the ready. You'd start it at the snap after that because of the incomplete forward pass. Okay. So
Yes. If it's incomplete, yes. But if it was a completed pass, you would start it on the ready because the clock would be running after that.
Right. Okay. Ruling penalty 5 yards from the spot of the foul and loss of down. The clock starts on the ready for play signal. Note if there is less than 1 minute remaining in the half, this foul comes under the 10-second runoff rule, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Felicia and Kim and Matt, you won't have to worry about most of the stuff. You're not going to be in the white hat position for a while. So
I would say though,
these
Bob,
are
like
small.
it's always good for the whole crew to know because anyone on the crew can help a referee. So I wouldn't skip through it, not to like confuse the issue when they're learning, but just take it in and just know that it might come to mind for you guys. And you might be someone who goes, oh, I feel like there was something about, and it doesn't hurt for everyone on the crew to know that and support the referee
Yeah.
and enforcement. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't gloss over it too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all a team out there. So if any of us are out there and we think that, oh, wait a minute, that's not the right way. Don't be afraid to speak up because the whole idea is we want to get it right. And there's 6 of us out there. So let's make sure that we have a discussion. If one of us thinks, nah, we got to reinforce this thing properly and do all the clock mechanics properly.
You made a comment there on stopping the clock when the flag was thrown. I understand it gets stopped like when you have to chat about it and sort it out. But does the on the start-stop clock always get stopped when there's a penalty identified?
Yeah, when there's a penalty, the play goes, you throw the flag. As soon as the play's over with, you do a stop the clock signal and you run in and you report your foul. So the clock is stopped at that time.
On every penalty?
On every penalty, yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and when you're out there and you have a penalty, don't have what I call a secret penalty. Don't throw your flag and be really quiet. The play ends and you're really quiet and you're slowly walking up to the referee to let him know I have a foul. By then he may not realize you got a foul and might start doing some other things, signaling for a second down, third down. When you have a foul, you throw the flag, let the play end, then you blow your whistle, you stop the clock and go toot, 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 blowing your whistle rapidly and then running into the referee, the white hat, and let him know I have an illegal forward pass at my flag and so on. Okay. Don't come in secretly.
Just quickly,
Okay.
I'll just quickly talk about the clock. The running clock flick, because you'll be learning that. We generally don't stop the clock even for penalties in the running clock games, unless you can see the conversation's actually taking a bit of time away from the gameplay. So if you had like a false start, we usually don't stop the clock for those because they don't take long to enforce. So just keep that in mind, with juniors and the running clock, if you're going to start focusing more on learning, we really...
that's what I'm used to. So that's why I thought I might clarify it.
Yeah, but in the start-stop normal clock, absolutely every penalty. But when we do the running clock, we just use a little bit of judgment. If the conversation's taking up some game time on a running clock, yes, we'll stop it. But if it's a quick one, 5 yards, just a minor scrimmage infraction, then we generally just keep running it through there too, just for you.
Got it. Thanks.
Okay. Team A has 11 players in the huddle. A81 mistakenly thinks he or she has been replaced and runs to his or her team area. He or she is immediately sent back onto the field and assumes a position on the line of scrimmage right near their sideline. The entire team has been stationary for 1 second before the snap, and there has not been a referee's timeout. Then the ball is snapped. Do we have a foul on this play?
I could be wrong, but my first thought is there's not.
Would this depend on whether the defense noticed that person as well? Because then it could be called an unfair tactic if they've tried to sneak that person onto the sideline unnoticed.
That's right. That's a very good thought, because some of these coaches have that kind of a play where someone thinks, hey, come off. They'll yell for him to come off, and he'll come off, but he's going to stay right there on the end. It could be a hideout play, and that if that was the case, that would be an unsportsmanlike foul. Anything should be, and he runs into their team area, so that person has left the field, and then basically sounds like they just come back onto the field and assumes a position on the line of scrimmage. There is a rule where all 11 players have to be in a huddle inside the hash marks at one time before they break out. As they break out, that is actually a shift. So right now I would probably I'm trying to think what I would do on that play.
I would have illegal participation.
Yeah, it sounds like that's what they're setting up here, isn't it?
You mean like
Yeah,
substitution?
because he has to come into the he or she has to come into the hash marks before they can participate in the play.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they satisfy that requirement by having their huddle, but once that person leaves that huddle and goes to the sideline, if they come back out, then they have to reestablish themselves as being part of that team. So Matt, you're right. It's just your gut feeling is now this is a hideout play, and that's a illegal substitution, or which is probably what I would call just a illegal substitution, 5-yard penalty. But let's see what they say here. It's a dead ball foul. The player loses his or her status as a participant when they enter the team area while the ball is dead, and then must adhere to substitution rules, which means getting back on field inside the hash marks, as Tony says, and establish yourself as being part of the team. Penalty 5 yards from the succeeding spot, or 15 yards from the succeeding spot if this is judged to be a violation of. Yeah, if you think it's going to be unsportsmanlike conduct, then that would be a 15-yard penalty. If it's just an illegal substitution, it's 5. And if I thought it was done absolutely on purpose as a hideout play, I'd bang him for the unsportsmanlike conduct. But if I felt in my gut it was just a mistake, I'd do an illegal substitution.
If they hadn't had entered the team area, would that still apply?
If they stop on the sideline,
Yeah,
no,
if they got to the end and
stop.
the coach is saying get back,
Yeah.
get back, would the fact that they were in the huddle when it first was established, would that satisfy? Like that would be deemed as a participant?
Yes,
That where
as
the
long
line
as
is drawn?
if they didn't leave the field, if they stayed on the field, they ran to the sideline, I would still be looking at it that if they were pretending to run off the field but then stopped like a hideout play, and there wasn't any defensive player with them, then I would call that unsportsmanlike. But if you felt it was a mistake and they started running off and they were told no, stay on, you're number 11, and he stays on and stops and the defense is there with him, then I wouldn't call a thing. I just let it go.
So the unsportsmanlike conduct is in relation to whether or not they appear to be taking off and hiding, and the substitution is the line is where they've left the field and gone into the team
Yes.
area.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, rule 922 is the unfair acts. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's where that comes into
Yeah.
it.
A lot of the trick plays that coaches come up with are really unfair acts. The hideout play, the fake injured player play, the quarterback walking toward the sideline, yelling and screaming, "Hey, send in the play," and then the ball is snapped and he's out there standing on his own on the side near the sideline. So all those plays, they're unsportsmanlike conduct fouls, and as soon as the ball snapped and you see it happen, throw the flag, let the play go, and then report you have unsportsmanlike conduct for whatever the play was.
So just on that as well, if there was a play like that, does the unsportsmanlike go against the player or against the head
It's
coach?
against the player. Yeah, we'd like it to be against the coach because he's the one that probably called it, but I'm sure it's against the player. Okay, team A lines up for a 2-point try attempt at the B3, which is where we would be setting the ball under normal circumstances. Team B has 11 players in its defensive formation. A 12th Team B player runs onto the field just before or just as the ball is snapped. A22 takes the handoff from the quarterback, and A is tackled at the 1-yard line, or B carries the ball into the end zone. So let's take this one at a time. So they're lined up for a 2-point try from the 3-yard line, and the defense has 11 players on the field. A 12th player runs onto the field, we'll say just before the snap. Then the ball is snapped. What do we have right then before any play takes place?
Live ball substitution foul on team B.
Do we have a flag?
Flag.
Yeah, we have a flag because now they've got 12 players on the field on defense. Okay, so we as soon as that 12th player comes running onto the field, even though the ball hasn't been snapped, he's running on the field before the ball is snapped, and as soon as the ball is snapped, we throw a flag because it's 12 men on the field, and you see what the results of the play is. If he's tackled at the 1-yard line, then they're probably going to accept the penalty, go half the distance, and still replay the 2-point try. If he goes into the end zone, they'll decline the illegal substitution, 12 men on the field, and accept the touchdown. Now, this may be dealing with our old rule, because these are old flip cards. If he runs onto the field, well, we'll around the field just before or just as the ball is snapped. Again, it doesn't make a difference, before or as the ball is snapped. He's still on the field as 12 men. See if it goes with that old foul. Ruling live ball foul by Team B, illegal substitution. Penalize Team B half the distance to the goal line if they were short. Retry, we said that. Team A will decline the penalty on the successful try, more later on field. Okay, any questions
So
on that?
if you have one too many players on the field, the name of the penalty is illegal substitution.
Yes.
Yep. 5 yards.
Gotcha.
We won't even go into the old rule. Have 12 men on the field. Okay, 3rd and 10 at the A35. The quarterback sweeps to his right, her right, and goes into a feet first slide to give themselves up. When they start their slide, the forwardmost point of the ball is at the A44. Okay, it was 3rd and 10 at the A35. So they've got to get to the A45 for a first down. He starts his slide at the A44. And when they come to a stop, the forwardmost point of the ball is at the A46. Okay, sideline officials, the line judge and head linesman, you're the one that's tracking the forward progress on this play. What do we got?
That'll be a 4th and 1 at the 44, because that's where he started his slide.
And that is because?
So the ball becomes dead as soon as he starts his slide.
Right. The quarterback, as soon as they start their slide, as soon as you see them drop their shoulders, their legs start going out in front of them, they're dropping their butt. There's all kinds of signs of someone going into slide. As soon as he starts his slide, at that point where the ball is where the run ends. And if you did it 1 yard short of the line to gain, then that's where you spot it. Not where he comes to a halt. Ruling 4th and 1 at the A4. Ball is dead at its forwardmost point when he or she starts their slide. And the ball is declared dead. If they, at the end of the slide, they lose possession of the ball, even before he has stopped his slide, the ball is dead. As soon as they start their slide, he is down, he's considered down, and the ball is dead. You have to be careful on those if they lose the ball halfway through their slide. It's not a fumble. The ball is dead at that point. Okay, team A punts the ball downfield and no team B player attempts to catch or recover it. A40 touches the ball and stops it rolling, but does not secure possession. A40 walks away from the ball and no nearby team B player moves to recover the ball. After 2 seconds, B33 shouts, "It's still alive," and starts running towards the ball, picks it up and advances with it. What do we got?
Isn't the ball dead when team A player touches it?
No.
Not necessarily when they touch it.
So it has to be possession.
You want to down it, clearly down it.
Yeah.
And I as you know, or I haven't talked to you guys yet, but I'm telling every team, if you're on the punting team and you want to down that ball, pick the ball up. Just pick it up. That is possessing the ball. It is now a dead ball that downs it. But something to remember: if there's a ball and it has stopped moving and is rolling down secure possession for it, he walks away the ball and and see, they say it stops it rolling, so that means it's not rolling and it's stationary. You touched it and the ball is stationary. Walks away from the ball. 2 seconds go by as the covering official, a punt that is sitting there motionless, and no one's attempting to pick it up immediately, blow the ball dead.
Yeah, so even if technically it was still alive, if they all treat it as dead, that's where you treat it as dead as well, isn't it?
Correct,
Is that right?
Matt. Yeah, and it's written that way too. So if no one's attempting to recover the ball, then the ball is taken as dead and the the official can blow the whistle and kill the play.
What we don't want is some dumbass play like this where everyone is sleepwalking and not paying attention, and then someone just taps the ball with his hand or whatever, and then the receiving team, they got some smart guy there that knows that ball really isn't dead that very instant, and scoops it up and runs while everyone else is wondering what's going on. We don't want that kind of a play happening. So if the ball is laying there motionless and no one is attempting to pick it up, blow the ball dead. But the punting team, absolutely, they've got people right there, pick up the damn ball. That way no one's going to do something stupid.
So if B33 had picked up the ball then before the official blows the whistle, are we then just letting it go?
It's going to be up to the official standing right there.
Because if you blow the whistle after, Matt, what happens? What have you done?
Well, that's an inadvertent whistle then.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call. Yep.
Which kills the play right there. So yeah, I've seen some officials, once the ball is scooped up, they suddenly realize I should have blown the ball dead, and they'll blow the ball dead just as a slow play. No, it was dead. No one's picking it up. We blew the ball dead, but it's a bad look for officials. So yeah, just remember, no one's picking it up. It's motionless. Blow it dead. So before somebody does something silly. Ruling: the ball is dead when it is clear that players in the vicinity of the ball show no interest in recovering it. B33's action occurred after the ball became dead. So they're saying, as soon as that ball is motionless and no one's intending to pick it up right away, it's a dead ball. So when B33 came along, he's basically scooping up a dead ball. Okay, so we can hang our hat on that one, because again, we don't want this action happening. Okay, Team A's fourth down legal forward pass strikes the ground after it touches an originally ineligible receiver who is illegally more than 3 yards beyond the neutral zone. So we have a legal forward pass which strikes the ground. So what do we got right at that point? A legal forward
incomplete and ineligible receive
Yeah,
downfield.
we definitely have an incomplete pass. Legal forward pass eventually touches the ground. So we have an incomplete pass number 1. In this case, they're saying it touched an originally ineligible receiver who was illegal more than 3 yards beyond the neutral zone. So we have an ineligible downfield, and that would be a penalty for an ineligible downfield. And that penalty would be, what are we looking at? Ineligible downfield, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. But it's a 4th down, illegal forward pass. So the receiving team could just decline the penalty, take the results of the play, which is a 4th down, they take possession. That all sounds right?
No, you'd have a legal touching. You'd have illegal touching
Yeah, I was
as
just
well.
going to go to you.
You have illegal touching, and then just so you have the 2 fouls: illegal touching and ineligible downfield. So you'd have to offer them whatever the best option is.
Because the illegal touching, that would be a spot.
I believe it's a spot foul.
Okay. So we'd have those 2 options possibly. We'll see in a minute. But we have a 4th down pass, touches the ground, incomplete. We're blowing the whistle, signal incomplete. Whoever had the ineligible downfield and the illegal touching, we've got a flag, possibly even 2 flags. The umpire might have ineligible downfield, and someone else might have an ineligible receiver first touching the ball. So both of them are 5-yard penalties, but one might be a spot foul. Let's see what they say. Ruling: foul, ineligible receiver downfield penalty, 5 yards from the previous spot. Team B's ball, 1st and 10. If the penalty is declined, yes. Okay. And foul before. Yeah. So either way, it's just a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and Team B's ball if they decline the penalty. If they accept the penalty, I don't know why they would accept the penalty. Then you penalize them 5 yards and they get the to replay 4th down.
Yeah, and just the wording in illegal touching. So you could consider it, but it's intentionally touching illegal. So in this instance, perhaps just hit them. They weren't actually trying to touch it. So it doesn't read that way in this example. But yeah, the wording for illegal touching is they can't intentionally touch a legal forward pass.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's not covered in this result.
Okay, a kickoff from Team A's 35-yard line, which is where we spot the ball for all kickoffs, unless there's penalty. Kickoff from Team A's 35-yard line goes out of bounds untouched by Team B. Okay, Team A's kick goes out of bounds untouched by the receiving team. At that point, what do we have? Do we have a flag?
Yes. Yep. Flag.
Right. We have a kickoff. This is a free kick. Kickoff goes out of bounds untouched. That is a foul. You throw the flag, and then there are basically 3 choices by the receiving team of where they want to take the ball. They can penalize the kicking team 5 yards and have them kick it again. They can receive the team on their own 35-yard line, basically 30 yards from where they kicked the ball, or they can take the ball where it went out of bounds plus 5 yards. I think all those are right. Is that right, Tony?
Yeah, that's correct. I would it's a 30-yard penalty because our fields are only 90 yards, so we've got to make sure it's actually 30 yards, not just by default on the 35.
Yeah. Yeah, 30. Yeah, it's 35-yard line if it's a regular field, but otherwise, basically, it's 30 yards from where they kick the ball. And in this case, and Team A, the kicking team, has illegal touch the kick. So when a free kick goes out of bounds, untouched by the receiving team, but Team A has illegally touched the kick. Now, for them to illegally touch the kick, that means they've got to touch the kick before it goes 10 yards, because otherwise they can legally touch the kick once it's gone 10 yards. This question isn't worded very clearly. If Team A has illegally touched the kick, say they touched the kicking off from the 35 and they touched the kick, it only went 5 yards when they touched the kick, and then the kick went out of bounds, untouched by B. We beanbag where that ball was touched by the kicking team, beanbag that spot, because the Team A or the receiving team will have a choice of taking the ball at the spot of where it was illegally touched by the kicking team, or they can take the results of the play or take various penalties. But this is a very big one, because they're saying here it was illegally touched by the kicking team, which meant it had to be touched before it went 10 yards. Got that? Everyone understand that? Beanbagging, that apparently they're trying an onside kick, sounds like. Ruling, Team B has 4 options. It may snap the ball at the spot of the illegal touching, right? So they can take the ball with the illegal touch. So it's where you beanbagged it. You can accept a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot with Team A kicking from the 30-yard line. That was one of the 3 options if there was no touching. Put the ball in play at the inbound spot on its own 35-yard line, or put the ball in play at the inbound spot 5 yards from where the ball went out of bounds. So there's your 3 basic spots if the ball just is a big free kick goes out of bounds. But in this case on an onside kick, the kicking team illegally touched the ball before it went 10 yards. So we also have a beanbag. Any questions? Okay, a free kick in flight strikes a Team B player, receiving team. This is a free kick, who is in their end zone, and the ball then goes out of bounds at the 3-yard line. What do we have here? This is a free kick. This is a kickoff to start the game. Team B player standing in their end zone, and it bounces right off his face mask, goes forward and out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
If the ball goes in the end zone, doesn't it come out to the 20-yard or it comes back out? I'm unsure about this one, but it's ended once it goes into the end zone.
But if it had landed untouched in the end zone, you'd automatically have a touchback. You signal a touchback, blow your whistle, and the ball then comes out to the 20-yard line. But in this case, it touched a Team B player in the end zone. If they catch it in the end zone, they do have the right or the possibility of running it out, advancing the ball. It's not dead if they catch it in the end zone. So, and the ball does not end up in the end zone, bounce forward and out of bounds at the 3-yard line. So I don't think we're going to have a touchback in this case.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 3. I saw it in a college game recently, actually.
Yeah, it's not, the ball's certainly not going to belong to the kicking team in every game possession. Belong to Team B, and goes out of bounds at the 3-yard line. I believe that would be the call. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, no, Ivan. Yeah, he muffs it out of bounds, so it should be at the 3 because he doesn't get the automatic touchback because he never took possession.
Right. Never secured possession. The kick never ended. A kick is a kick is a kick is a kick. Now the kick is a kick until the kick ends, and this kick never ended and went out of bounds at the 3-yard line.
If he took that, if he took possession in the end zone, could he run it back out, or is that going to be a touchback? He can't.
Yeah, no, he could catch the kick and down it, and he can catch the kick and advance it. If the kick hits the end zone untouched, it's blow the whistle, kill a play. It's a touchback and put the ball in the 20.
What would happen if he was going to be surrounded and he hadn't taken a fair catch? If he just downed it in the end zone?
That's fine. He caught the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, cool.
And then decided to down the ball in the end zone. That's fine. That's just a touchback.
Gotcha.
Because the kick never left the end zone. It's still, the kick ended in the end zone, and team A is the team responsible for putting the ball in the end zone. So you've got a touchback. Okay, we're running team B's ball, 1st and 10 on the 3-yard line at the inbound spot. Exactly right. Okay, because that's where the kick ended. Okay, A88 is running near the sideline to cover a punt. So he's a member of the punting team. When he steps on the sideline and then returns inbounds to continue down the field, they tackle the kick returner at the B30. Okay, you're the sideline official. You're trailing this play.
Well, if they went out of bounds voluntarily, then they're effectively out of the play, then, aren't they?
Yep, they probably could not be the first. Then we know they can't be the first to touch the ball. Can they be the first to make a tackle? Now, if they were knocked out of bounds, they have to come back in immediately, reestablishing themselves as being in bounds, and then they can participate in any way they want to. But if they go out of bounds on their own and then return in bounds, assuming it was right away, and then makes the tackle, can they be the first one to participate in the play? Anybody?
I don't know this one. It feels like they shouldn't be able to.
Okay, Tony?
Yeah, I believe he's not allowed to make the tackle. He's not allowed to be the first person to make the tackle.
Okay, we all know they can't be the first to touch the ball. But let's see if they can make a tackle. So fouled by 88 for returning inbounds during the scrimmage kick down. 5-yard penalty. Team B may have the down repeated after the penalty or put the ball in play at the B35. So A88, because he went out on his own, basically can't participate in the rest of the play.
Is this in relation to free kicks only? Because it says in the scrimmage kick down.
Yes, this would be free kicks or punts. In this case, it's a punt, but this would be in free kicks too. You go out of bounds on your own, you basically cannot participate in the rest of that play.
So let's also talk about what you'd do if you saw
Gotcha.
it. So if you see that, what are you doing? If you
Yeah,
see a player
what
go
do you
out of
do?
bounds, what are you doing?
Throwing watching what they, if it's a kick, and now that I know that they can't participate again in the kick, an out of bounds player, then you throw a flag as nearest to where they went out of bounds as it could.
Okay, so until something happens at the end, you don't know if you have a flag yet. So when you see a player go out of bounds, you're going to mark the spot where they came back in the field of play, or where they went out of bounds, either with your beanbag or your hat. And then you're going to see what happens next. And depending on what they do next is whether or not you then have a flag on that play as well. So any player that's going out of bounds, you should be marking that spot and watching if they return in bounds immediately. So it does matter if they do it voluntarily or if they're blocked, but we still need to mark the spot when it occurs and then make a decision about what action occurs after that.
So if they went out of bounds and rejoined, but they've like chased after the ball carrier, but didn't actually tackle or I guess participate, would that then not be a flag? Is that why you're watching?
The first thing you do, as soon as because you don't know what the result of the play is going to be. So you're trailing the play and you see a player running out of going out of bounds on their own. You take off your hat and mark the spot. You'll see that happening all the time in college and in the pros. They use their hat to mark a spot where a player goes out of bounds. And then you continue officiating, continue with the results of the play and see what happens. If he then is the first one to touch the ball or he goes back in and participates in the play, now you have a flag for participating in a play after going out of bounds. And the only reason you're marking that spot out of bounds is to show that you saw where they went out of bounds.
Okay, so you're just waiting until the end to throw the flag? I'm just, this clarification just slightly confused me.
You throw the flag, you throw your hat when they go out of bounds.
Yep.
And then see the result of the play. If they do come in and participate, then you throw your flag.
And if they didn't participate, if they've come back in, but then gone, oh shit,
yeah,
then you wouldn't bother?
Yeah, they don't participate, they don't touch the ball, they don't touch a player, then you got nothing.
What's kind of the definition of participation? Like if they've chased after the ball carrier, but not been.
It says here, returning in bounds during the scrimmage kick down.
Yeah, I'm just actually reading this rule and it doesn't say anything about participation on the kick
I'm not
plays.
sure about this one.
So I think on kick plays, the participation isn't the factor. This might be more on a non-kick play. I have to read up about it. But yeah, this one particular, this rule 6.3.12 actually says no team A player who goes out of bounds during a scrimmage kick play may return inbounds during the down. It doesn't apply if they were blocked out of bounds and then immediately return. Light ball foul 5 yards from the previous spot, or if the scrimmage kick crosses the neutral zone 5 yards from the spot where the subsequent dead ball belongs to team B. So this is the approved ruling in the book that Bob's got on the flip cards now, but it doesn't actually say that it's relevant to participation, just saying that they can't come back in bounds, and that's the actual infraction.
So this rule is to stop those fast players on the edge from going too wide, just essentially just for the kick downs.
Yeah, racing out of bounds on the sideline.
So it's if them coming in bounds, but the at all is the penalty because it is there to stop that.
Yes,
that's what it sounds like. Can you just go back to the where it's got the rule numbers, just so I can note it?
6.3.12.1.
Thank you.
Tony, would you read it like this? That just as soon as if they go out of bounds, you had it, and as soon as he returns back in, you flag it.
That's how it reads.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know there was a difference between scrimmage kicks and scrimmage plays, because you can't go to bounds at all on any play. So it's funny how it's different based on whether it's a kick or not.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never heard of as soon as he returns back in, it's a foul. I always thought it had to do something with the participation. Yeah, well.
But that so that mechanic flick, regardless of if it's an offensive scrimmage play or a kick play, we still mark the spot with our hat. So say it's a passing play and it's an intercept, that player can't go out of bounds and back in bounds to make the tackle.
Right. Yeah, anytime you see a player go out of bounds on his own or whatever, throw your hat out that spot, because you're signifying that you saw them go out of bounds, and then see what the result of the play is, whether you have a foul later on or not. Okay, that one's an interesting. I have to do a little more studying on that one, I think. A team B player about to catch a scrimmage kick, this will be a punt, is tackled before the ball arrives, but catches the ball while they are falling. In other words, the kicking team makes contact before the ball gets there, but he still catches the ball. What do we have?
We have KCI.
Okay, whether he catches the ball or not, any contact with a Team B player in position to catch a scrimmage kick is catch interference, fair catch interference. Although he's not signaling for a fair catch, just kick catching interference, okay? And that would be, is that a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul?
It's a spot foul, I think.
Yeah, spot foul. I think it's a personal foul.
Yeah, I
We
think
don't
it
ever
is.
do it, but I think it's a personal foul.
15 from the spot of the foul. So you're back there, and here comes the kick, and as soon as the ball's in the air, take your eye out. As soon as you see the direction of the ball, where the ball's going, take your eye off the ball. Don't follow the ball. Immediately look at the person getting ready to receive the kick. And you should have some help watching the blocking of players coming down toward the receiver. But you want to see if they signal for a fair catch, number one. And then you want to see the action on that player before the ball gets there and after the ball gets there.
Yeah, it's 15 yards.
So, wow, this is really small. Ruling, catch interference penalty, 15 yards from the spot of the foul, disqualification of a Team A player if the contact is flagrant. If the foul is between the goal lines, enforcement from the spot of the foul and Team B puts the ball in play by a snap. Yeah, if behind Team B's goal line, award a touchback and penalize from the succeeding spot. So if it's in his end zone and he's standing there to receive this punt and he is contacted before the ball gets there, we've got a flag for catch interference. And since the kick ended in the end zone and was put in the end zone by the kicking team, it ruled a touchback. So we go out to the 20 and then 15 yards from there.
This is a good one to talk about, and I'll just sort of throw in a bit here. It was maybe, it might have been even 2 years ago. I remember we had some examples of this where Tony was like, I'm pretty sure we have kick catch interference, and everyone's kind of going, huh, what? Like, it's just something that didn't get talked about a lot. And so it's a good one to just bring up, because sometimes when you just see it, you think that it's fine and there's just some contact and, you know, well done, you've made him not catch the ball, but they're completely entitled. You can't have a player within that vicinity of someone in a position to catch a kick. And I had this at the World Cup as well, and both of us that threw the flag kind of looked at each other like, have we got this? Yeah, I think this is what we have. Like, it's just not something that comes up a lot. So it is a good one to cover off on. You know, Tony brought it up a couple of years ago, and we've just kind of, it's good to just keep covering it off.
Yeah. Onside kicks, it happens. You have to be very, very careful on onside kicks, because the receiving team has the right to catch the ball uninterfered.
Like, even within that, that's what Tony's saying, even that really short span of like 10 yards, they're still entitled to it. And we know Team A can't touch it anyway, but like kick catch interference occurs when they're like trying to scramble and get and recover that kick. They're still entitled to be in position and take that kick.
Well, that's if the ball's kicked in the air. Now, if the ball is bounced on the ground and takes a big hop, once the ball hits the ground, you can't have.
It's allowed to hit the, if they kick it directly into the ground from the tee, and it bounces up, they still are afforded protection in that case. But otherwise, you're correct. As soon as it touches the ground,
because then it could look like a kick. Okay, the ruling would also applies to an unsuccessful field goal attempt. So they're kicking it. Well, we don't have field goals. Well, if they attempt a field goal, they kick it, and someone on the receiving team is back there getting ready to catch that, and their contact before the ball gets there. The same thing.
Marcus has just put something in the, sorry, Bob. Marcus just put something in the chat. Obviously, he just wants to cover off, so I'll read it out. He says, how does this change if Team B player makes contact in an attempt to intercept? Is that just now? I think it's popped up. I don't know, maybe Marcus doesn't have sound, but he's put it in the chat.
Say that again.
So how does this change if Team B player makes contact in an attempt to intercept?
Intercept a punt?
Yeah, so we'll just clarify. So this is a kick that's going forward, and Team B is entitled to recover that kick and be in a position to take it. So it's not really an interception. It's a change of possession play, Marcus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, again, the Team on a punt, the team B player has the right to get access to the ball. He has a right to catch that ball if he's standing there, whether he signals or not. If he signals, obviously signal for fair catch, and if he's still contacted, you have fair catch interference. But he has the right, and he can't advance the ball, but he has the right to that. But he doesn't have to signal for fair catch to be protected to catch that ball. They can't make contact with him. As Pam was trying to tell out, just because the member of the receiving team actually catches the ball doesn't mean that they can bump into him before the ball gets there. They can't interfere with his opportunity to make that catch. Okay, we'll do this one after a huddle or a shift. And don't forget, a huddle is a shift. So all 11 players or all 9 players, they break the huddle and come up and get into position. And everybody has to be motionless for 1 second before the ball is snapped. So the huddle, when they break from the huddle, that's considered a shift. Okay, so after a huddle or a shift, all teammate players come to a stop and remain stationary for 1 second. Then before the snap, 2 or more simultaneously change their positions. 2 or more. So they break the huddle, they get set for 1 full second, and then both halfbacks go into motion because one of them didn't realize he weren't supposed to. So both of them changed positions before the snap.
If they're
That's
not
enough.
still for a second, I would have thought that's a legal shift.
This might be a poorly worded question. They're not talking about when the ball is snapped. They're
Yeah,
saying
like if-
before the snap, 2 or more simultaneously change their positions.
So if they shift and then they stay for another second, I believe it would be fine.
Exactly. That's exactly right. If they stop for another second, you have nothing. If while they're moving, the ball is snapped, we just have a flag, let the play go. It's just a illegal shift or illegal. It's actually an illegal shift. If 2 of them move simultaneously and then one stops and the other one continues without stopping, the ball is snapped, you throw the flag, let the ball go, and that would be illegal motion, I believe. Both of them are 5-yard penalties from the previous spot if it's accepted by Team B. So it doesn't say anything about a snap here when it occurs, but illegal motion, illegal shift, all those things are snap infractions, and it requires a snap to create the foul, depending on whether they stopped or not. Any questions on that? We'll see what they say here with an answer. Ruling, all 11 teammate players must again stop for 1 second. There you go, Felicia, exactly right. Before the snap, otherwise it's a live ball foul at the snap for an illegal shift. Yeah, I've always thought illegal shift is 2 people involved, illegal motion is 1 person involved. Is that right, Tony? Am I right there?
That is correct.
Okay. I've got 2 more marked out. Want to go 2 more?
I'll
2
just
seconds.
add to that.
Wait,
So
let's look at this.
Also, this could be a case of if you have 2 people move, one person might stop and the other one might go in motion. So even though that one person has stopped, it's still an illegal shift because everyone has to stop before then going in motion.
Right. Yeah, I made that scenario there. Now they're talking about also it could be a false start. If let's say they all came set for 1 full second, and then 2 players make an aggressive, 2 of them make movement at the same time, some sort of jump forward and moving, and it causes the defense to jump in. Would we have a false start on the offense on that? If the movement by the 2 players simultaneously is aggressive.
If it causes defense to jump, then I would have a false start. But if it does nothing to draw the defense off, then I would have it as an illegal shift.
Yeah, I definitely have a false start. If their motion was aggressive and cause the defense to jump in. Team A has 3rd and 3 at the B40. Quarterback A12 is in shotgun formation, and A makes a fake clap standing in position. So I guess he just goes without clapping. Or B makes a fake clap while chucking his or her shoulders and hands forward in an exaggerated motion, simulating the start of the play. Okay, what do we got? Take A.
Were you assuming that he's not making a sound the way you read that? Is that what?
Yeah, it's like this. It goes like this. I saw it several times in today's college games. He goes like he's going to clap, but he doesn't bring them together. I saw him that apparently it was the first count he would go, and then hit it on the 3rd time, but it was their first sound, but he was pretending to clap several times. So I'd say in A, if he just makes a fake clap standing in position, I got nothing. I mean, that's not a foul. If he makes a fake clap and I would go on this one, an exaggerated motion simulating the start of a play. Well, and if that draws, actually that'd be I'd just have an illegal procedure, false start. Now, what if he did that and nothing happened? In other words, the defense didn't move. Would we still have a false start?
First of all, you would warn them and say, don't do that. But then you would have a false start because you're not allowed to.
Right. You can't pretend you got a snap. They'd be 5 yards. Let's see what they're saying here. In A, ruling states that it is a false start if the quarterback makes any quick, jerky movement that simulates the start of the play. So it's a false start. So he's doing that. You throw a flag, blow the whistle, don't let it go off. And in A, no foul. Yeah, we can't possibly call a foul on a quarterback who is just doing what he normally does, just didn't clap. Okay, any questions on that?
Would that have to would there have to be a snap or a defensive, like, some sort of reaction for the foul, or is it just
on the one where his
B
motion? I threw that out as what if there was no movement? Will we still call it a foul? And yes, we would still call it a false start.
And that's without a snap or anything immediately after?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Is that because it's designed to trick the defense?
Yes, it's exactly.
Like trick the defense at the players start?
It's a false start if the quarterback makes any quick, jerky movement that simulates the start of the play.
Gotcha.
This is the whole idea, is to draw off the defense. And an exaggerated motion that would I be hanging my head on.
Vic's taking good note of this, Bob. She just needs to know what she's allowed to do.
Okay,
it did occur to me what I can and can't do. This definitely helps.
Okay, last play.
You also make sure in that situation, if you're going to throw it on a 3rd and 3, make sure you're also going to throw it on the first play. So that could just be the natural cadence of the quarterback, and he does it every single play. So if he does it every single play, and it's part of his normal process, then I would be tempted to not throw it if he's doing it every single play, because he's not actually deceiving anyone.
Right. If in the first play or first couple plays, if he does that, makes an exaggerated motion, I would be inclined to go up to him and say, hey, listen, try to slow down all the action when you're doing this, just so that it doesn't come into play.
Yeah, I think
Tony's right.
If the Saints QB does it, he moves his hands even when he's going through his cadence. So he does it every single play, and it's just his rhythm. So it's making sure you understand what he's doing is his natural motion compared to what he's doing to try to simulate the snap. I think it's the Saints one. He moves his hands a lot during his cadence, but he doesn't do it to draw anyone off.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a good point. Also, when you have, I've seen quite a few players arguing about like linemen moving, but if it's not sudden and it's not designed for anything, it's actually just, what they do every play. It's a similar story, and it's just something to look out for. And, same with receivers who don't move forward, but tend to like move their hands and stuff like that. So it's the same philosophy across the board.
Okay, last one, A80 on the end of the line, a non-restricted interior lineman or a back. A80 he's on the end of the line. He's he's not an interior lineman. He's on the end of the line, and he's not in the backfield. He misses the snap count and makes a casual movement that is not abrupt, quick, or jerky, and does not simulate the start of a play. So in other words, he just moves. I'd like to know whether he moved forward or not here, but it didn't say. So you guys are on the line of scrimmage, and you're watching this, and you see the guy closest to you, and he makes a casual movement, not abrupt, quick, or jerky. He does not simulate the start of a play. And they should be talking about when the snap is too. Because if he's moving and the ball is snapped, and I'd have that illegal motion, because you can't go in motion from the line of scrimmage. But if he is allowed to change positions, because he's not a restricted lineman, so he can shift another yard further outside, or he can shift. They can even bring someone from the far side, shift around in motion, have him step back, and another guy step on the line of scrimmage on his side. And he can do all kinds of things because he's not restricted. That would be the way I would read that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I think he's giving they're giving the examples of 3 different positions he could be in. So he can be at receiver, he can be an interior line, or he could be a back. So I think they're giving asking for, in those 3 different positions, what would we do? So if he's out of receiver, you would probably let that go. If he's a back, you'll probably let it go. But if he was a interior lineman, you wouldn't have that go, because chances are he's going to draw off the defense. And we tend to have a bit more strictness on our linemen.
What's a non-restricted interior lineman?
I'm guessing because he's numbered 80.
Interior lineman.
Was it like covered up or not?
That's
Like a tight end?
Yeah, like a covered tight end.
Boy, I don't know. It's a poorly worded question here.
Yeah, good choice, Bob.
Yeah, no. I didn't read all these. I just was glancing through them, seeing how it just started. A80 in the line. Yeah, okay, this sounds good. And I didn't go into all the answers. I just, a non-restricted interior lineman. Let's see if it gives us a AR 713. No foul by team. Offensive team requirements prior to the snap. So it's no foul, no matter where he's playing, apparently. End of the line, we know that. In the backfield, we know that. And as a non-restricted interior lineman, I guess he's non-restricted, he can shift.
Just like we talk about, what's the reason for the rule? And the reason is that they don't gain an advantage. And by those actions, they're not. So I think that's sort of just how to think through that one.
Okay. Well, those are the only ones I had pulled out. And been a little more than an hour.